Leaders from the UK, Ukraine, France, and Germany met in London on Sunday to discuss the urgent need to increase weapons production. The discussions focused on countering Russia's powerful hypersonic Oreshnik ballistic missiles. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosted Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz at 10 Downing Street. During the meeting, the leaders underlined the urgent need to scale up the production of interceptors. They also discussed co-developing anti-ballistic missile and deep strike capabilities. The leaders condemned Russia's missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities, which they said have caused a tragic toll on civilians. The meeting occurred as the UK, France, and Germany have been prominent backers of Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion began in February 2022. The next step involves the leaders addressing the need to bolster Ukraine's defenses against Russian missile threats. The next milestone is the transition into the role and how the new appointment shapes the office's public work. The House passed a resolution on June 3rd. It could potentially force President Donald Trump to step back from military actions in the ongoing war with Iran. This legislative action follows a Senate vote on May 19th, where the measure passed 50-47, though several senators did not cast a vote. For context, Congress previously passed the War Powers Resolution back in 1973, a measure that was enacted over a veto from President Richard Nixon. The resolution passed by the House aims to curb military involvement, requiring the President to report to Congress and potentially terminating U.S. forces within 60 days unless Congress grants permission. The next step involves determining how Congress will proceed with the resolution after the Senate vote. Negotiations involving the union representing the workers, a hospitality group at the Los Angeles Stadium, and FIFA are scheduled to continue on Monday. The source reporting indicates that the talks are set to continue through Monday. The available information does not provide further details on specific negotiation points or outcomes. The next step remains the continuation of these talks on Monday. Negotiations between the union representing the workers, the hospitality group at the Los Angeles Stadium, and FIFA are set to continue Monday. Keep the script tied to the verified source details and avoid adding broader consequences. The next meaningful update will be the first confirmed response or official action that changes what viewers know now. The legal action centers on seeking more generous caps for student loans in these specific healthcare fields. The filing relates to the rules surrounding student debt for PA and nursing students. The source reporting indicates this is a narrow update regarding the ongoing legal matter. The core of the dispute involves the financial caps placed on student loans for these medical training programs. The reporting does not provide details on broader consequences stemming from this lawsuit. The current status remains focused on the lawsuit seeking more generous caps for PA and nursing programs. U.S. stocks suffered a sharp drop Friday, with fears over big tech shaking Wall Street markets, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq index experiencing its biggest one-day decline since April 2025. The major indexes reflected the downturn, as the Nasdaq index fell by more than 4%. The S&P 500 closed 2.6% lower, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 1.35%. This sell-off was fueled by fresh investor concerns that the Federal Reserve may raise interest rates this year, which contributed to the market decline. However, sources noted that this sell-off did not signal a global market panic. Instead, the movement showed investors pulling back from technology stocks, which some critics have warned are overvalued. The sharp drop highlighted how vulnerable big tech stocks have become, especially since a few major companies account for such a large portion of the overall stock market. The market reacted to the data. It meant investors who had been anticipating rate cuts were forced to quickly change their plans. The market action also saw investors shifting money into traditionally safer investments, such as sectors like healthcare, utilities, and consumer staples. The next test for investors will be watching how the Federal Reserve responds to the economic data and inflation levels. It all came rushing back to Alexander Zverev when he was lying on his back on the French Open center court. his hands covering his face and sobbing on Sunday as he realized that he had finally become a Grand Slam champion. The anchor should open on it was the same court where he twisted his right ankle and crumpled to the ground, wailing in agony before being pushed off on a wheelchair during a semi-final match against Rafael Nadal in 2022. It's special in a very positive way, but also special on the negative way. Because I had some of the toughest moments of my life here, Zverev said. Public subject should match the verified source update and avoid broader unsupported claims.